A few weeks ago, I was listening to the Superlative podcast hosted by Ario Adams, and his guest was the founder of Simba Watches, Boris Kurumaka. He started the company, believe it or not, out of his dorm room back in 2014. The company is based out of my state, more specifically, LA, Los Angeles. Their timepieces started an international trend and created a cultural revolution in 130 countries. So, at the time of that recording, Boris said that he had sold hundreds of thousands of watches. Today, we will be taking a look at the Blade Corsa. This watch has a black and red combination and features their signature 1-second spin turbine dial that's patent pending and made of titanium. The attention to detail on the blades can be admired at the macro level, and they did a really good job. Obviously, this is the coolest feature about this watch, and although it doesn't add any functionality, it's very cool to look at. I like how the date window keeps playing a game of peekaboo. Again, not functional, but watches are a form of expression, and this definitely stands out. The entire case is matte black and constructed of stainless steel. The company went a little wild with the case shape, and I appreciate the sides of the case and the visible screws that are married between the lugs and the case. Are they functional? I'm not sure, but at the MSRP of $289, I don't believe they are. One of the biggest downfalls for me is the size of the actual watch. It's big. The case measures in at 44 millimeters. From lug to lug is 50.2 millimeters, and the thickness comes in at 13 millimeters. In between the lugs, 24 millimeters, and the watch with the supplied leather strap weighs in at 101 grams. The watch is water resistant to 50 meters and does feature a flat sapphire crystal. The company doesn't mention anything about AR coding, but the dial is not super legible when the light hits it. At the 3 o'clock, we do find a push and pull sign crown that also features the blade design and is very easy to interact with. Reading the time on this guy is relatively simple when you look very closely, as the red hands peek out of the spinning turbine. At the 12 o'clock, we see their pretty unique and cool logo, and around the dial we do find minute markings, and on the outer brush ring we find engraved notches that act like 5-minute interval indices. Again, let's just say that reading the time at a glance is not necessarily great, but this watch is more of a statement piece. Another big negative for me is the lack of lume. Man, think about how cool the blades would look if they had lume. But unfortunately, the company opted to not put lume on any of the parts of the dial, not even the hands. That truly feels like a miss for me. When turning the watch over, we find a display case back, and through it we find an automatic Japanese caliber with a custom rotor. Now, the company doesn't say if this is a Miyota or an NH movement, but they do tell us it has 42 hours of power reserve. You can wind it and you can hack it. Based on the architecture of the movement, it really resembles an NH movement. Nonetheless, the company offers a 2-year warranty, so I wouldn't worry too much about reliability. Let's talk about that 24mm genuine leather strap. For the price, the strap wasn't going to be premium, but I do like that the colors match the case and the dial. The strap features a sign buckle, and on my 6 7/8 inch wrist, the watch wears big, but it's wearable. Nonetheless, I really wish the watch case was smaller and thinner. Also, the fact that the lugs are 24 millimeters means that you'll have to go looking in Panerai strap websites to source different straps. Look, for sub $300, I think the watch is super unique and very well constructed. However, the size for me is on the bigger side, and it's a downfall. I would love to see this watch in a 40mm case with a 20mm lug width, and of course, a ton of lume. I think this is a fun pickup and would actually recommend any adventurous collector to pick one up. And if this model doesn't speak to you, the company has a lot of other models to pick from. Let me know what you think about this watch and if you're picking one up. As always, thank you so much for your support. Be safe out there and stay humble.